What's the secret to getting rich? Hard work? Nope. Dumb luck? Wrong again. If you've ever felt like you're not actually getting closer to the person that you want to be, you're going to want to hear this. All getting rich requires is two things, a skill stack and a habit stack. And I'm going to share with you which skills and which habits you need to get rich, how to pick the right ones for you, and how to build them without overwhelming yourself and failing in the process. But first, what are these stacks I'm talking about anyway? A skill stack is a collection of a couple different learnable, high-value skills that you can use to help other people solve their problems for a profit. A habit stack is a specific set of high-value habits that consistently help the wealthiest and most successful people in the world become, well, wealthy and successful. And because these are habits, once you have them, building wealth and success will feel almost automatic. In How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, the creator of the Dilbert comic strip, Scott Adams, talks about creating a talent stack. Scott Adams created his Dilbert comic strip because he was an okay artist, a reasonably funny writer, and had enough corporate experience to make writing jokes about that world easy enough. He admits openly that he's not excellent in any one of those individual skills. It's the magical combination of all those things that makes him successful at what he does. If you have a lot of different interests, are curious about a bunch of different things, or are having trouble deciding what to focus on first, then this is going to be music to your ears. The first marketing skill I learned was web design. After realizing that nobody could find the websites I was building, I started to learn SEO. After getting a taste for that sweet free traffic, I started to learn about other ways to generate clicks, leads, and sales, so I dove into social media marketing. This led me to learn paid social media ads like Facebook ads, which introduced me to a whole new world of business and marketing, as well as people who were spending millions a year on ads and who were looking for any advantage that they could get. I wrote blog articles on the topic, which led to videos, podcasting, courses, coaching, consulting, and ultimately getting to work with some of the biggest businesses in the industry, like Google and Facebook and Snapchat and Adobe. If I had to start over and try to figure out my skill stack as quickly as possible, this is what I'd do. I'd make a list and write down all the things you're good at. These are your skills. They're things that you do for work, have done for work in the past, are things that you feel you do better than most people, and are also probably things that your friends and family ask you questions about. Then I'd write down a list of your interests and other passions or hobbies that you have. So what do you do for fun? What would you do if money wasn't an issue or a concern? What kinds of things did you enjoy doing as a kid? Then I'd move on to the third and final list, which is market demand. It's here that you need to do a little bit of research to see what opportunities are available to you that are currently in demand in the market right now. In other words, what products or services could you offer that other people want? Not just what you think they want, but what they actually want and are willing to pay for. Once you're done, you may find the next step you should take staring you right in the face. Or what's more likely is you'll find that you're missing just one small skill that would really make you stand out. Or maybe you see another opportunity to add another skill to your stack that would allow you to 10x your income. The good news here is that anyone can learn pretty much any skill these days for free or very cheap, even if you're starting from zero. For example, there are millions of YouTube videos just like this one on pretty much any subject you can think of. There are courses, both free and paid, that are going to give you a step-by-step breakdown on, again, anything you can think of. And even more traditional educational institutions like MIT and Harvard and Stanford put many of their courses available online for you to take absolutely free. So skills can be acquired today faster, cheaper, and easier than ever before in history. The key, as Naval Ravikant puts it, is to become the best in the world at what you do, keep redefining what you do until this is true. And while acquiring and assembling skills into a skill stack is important, it's not the whole picture. Which is why the second element to getting rich, and the most important element of all, is developing a high-value habit stack. So let me show you how that's done now. We all know that your habits are the key to transforming your life and taking you from where you are right now to wherever it is that you want to be. After all, the only difference between the rich and the poor, the successful and the struggling, and the achievers versus the procrastinators are their habits. Or in other words, the things that they think, feel, and do regularly. As Dr. Andrew Huberman puts it, habits are a big part of who we are. What we do habitually makes up much of what we do entirely, and it's estimated that up to 70% of our waking behavior is made up of habitual behavior. So clearly habits are important, but seeing as there is literally an unlimited number of different things you could do, where should you start? What habits are more important than others? And which ones are going to provide you with disproportionately valuable rewards in return for the efforts that building a new habit requires? Fortunately, we have the answers to all of those questions provided to us by some of the best and brightest minds in the field of high performance and habits and success. People like Andrew Huberman and Charles Duhigg and BJ Fogg and Benjamin Hardy and so many more. And when it comes to making more money, becoming more successful, getting rich, the science is actually pretty clear. And one of the first habits that you need to develop, and one of the first things that you need to understand, is that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. This is why time management is such an important habit. In fact, the habit of time management may be one of the most important habits of all. This is because one of the biggest differences between wealthy people and not so wealthy people is how they spend and how they value their time. I remember having a conversation with a security guard at a store one day while my wife was inside shopping, and we were talking about the long line of people that were waiting outside a store next door. I asked him if he knew what was going on, and he said that they were all waiting because the store was giving away some kind of a free gadget or widget or gizmo or something. Whatever it was, he couldn't wait to tell me just how desperate he was for his shift to be over, so he too could wait in line for hours in order to get this free random thing. This free random thing that he didn't even know what was and was probably just going to end up in the garbage after a couple hours or maybe a couple days at most. In other words, he was willing to trade and give up his most precious asset, time, in exchange for some random useless thing he didn't even know what it was. So don't be that guy. The next habit is elimination. The elimination habit comes down to getting rid of anything that doesn't serve you, your goals, or your overall well-being. This could mean giving up waiting in line for hours at a time for some completely random thing. It could mean giving up playing hours of video games well past the point of initial enjoyment has worn off. It could mean cutting down or cutting out bad food, bad friends, bad hobbies, bad anything. Start small if you have to, but definitely take stock of all of the activities and all of the things that are currently occupying your time, and find the ones that are not really contributing that much to your overall success. Get rid of them first. This is a necessary habit and is going to free up valuable time that you're going to be able to use and apply to this next habit, self-development. All of the billionaires and multimillionaires I've ever worked with, worked for, and come across all value and prioritize self-improvement. They always want to get better and are constantly in pursuit of growth, information, and experiences. In Tom Corley's book, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life, he writes that 88% of rich people devote 30 minutes or more each day to self-education or self-improvement reading, and that most did not read for entertainment. Books are a shortcut to success that allow you to learn from some of the world's greatest minds, both past and present. A powerful reminder is this quote by Harry Truman, who said, "Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers." Next habit, sleep. Talking about sleep is boring, but important. And the science is crystal clear on this one. The vast majority of the world's wealthiest people all aim to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night, and usually wake up early, around 3 hours or so before the workday begins. My preference is to set a bedtime rather than a wake-up time, as it gives me more control and allows me to adjust for days when I need to catch a few extra minutes of shut-eye. Next habit, another boring but again important one, which is exercise. Countless studies have been done showing how exercise makes you smarter. It grows neurons in the brain, helps increase the production of glucose in the brain, which is essentially brain fuel. It's also been linked to improvements in attentional control, processing speed, working memory capacity, and the ability to switch between tasks. Clearly, all things that are going to help you to make more money and do it faster and easier than ever before. Next habit, upgrading your social circle. There's a famous quote by Jim Rohn that says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is why you should always be on the lookout for people who are hardworking and goal-oriented and positive and enthusiastic and passionate. Attitudes, behaviors, beliefs, and values are all way more contagious than you might think. So if you can surround yourself with other ambitious people and information and ideas, well, they'll start to soak in and get absorbed by your subconscious and your identity. Next habit, goals and dreams. This habit isn't going to come as a surprise, but wealthy people have goals. Usually written, but always clear and compelling, as it guides them and keeps them focused. Fun fact, your brain is a problem identifying and problem solving machine. And if you don't give it interesting and compelling problems to work on, then it's gonna start looking around and inventing its own. If you ever see someone getting all bent out of shape and frustrated over something small and relatively trivial, like say a rude customer service person, or an overcharge of 20 cents, or the barista using almond milk instead of macadamia milk in their latte, it's usually because these people don't have bigger and more important problems that they're working on. Oh, you better not be putting almond milk in my latte. Don't be those people. And one of the best ways to find problems worthy of your attention is to use this next habit, which is thinking time. In his book, The Road Less Stupid, an amazing title I might add, Keith Cunningham introduces a habit that I've adopted called thinking time, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. A time that you schedule and set aside on your calendar dedicated to, well, thinking. I like to do this with a pen and paper in hand so I can jot down any ideas or ask myself trigger questions like, what actions could I take today that would have the biggest impact on my life or business? What obstacles are standing in the way of my goals and how can I overcome them? Or one of my personal favorites, if I could only work 2 hours a day and had to maintain my revenue and income, what would I do? Another observation Tom Corley made that backs this up is how rich people typically spend at least 15 minutes every single day writing down ideas and brainstorming and essentially just thinking. Next habit, business and marketing. The world's wealthiest people know that the real secret to building massive amounts of wealth comes down to owning assets, which they usually do through the creation of a business that they own and control. So to help you start or grow your business, I've linked up a video right here with some of my best marketing tips, tricks, and strategies. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in there in just a second.